with a particular diet that I use, which is all raw foods. I don't even cheat. All raw foods. I eat raw milk, lots of raw eggs, raw meats, chicken, fish, beef, lamb, all of them. It reversed all of my diseases. When I was about 30 years old, and I decided that I was just not going to live through it again because it was very painful. So I ate the raw meat to kill myself, and it did just the opposite. It invigorated me for the first time in my life.
Oh, what?
South, like the opposite of north.
South? It's the Midwest. The middle. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so what were you eating and trying to feed your dog just a second ago?
I wasn't feeding my dog yet, but I was just eating the pate beef with honey and lube.
Nice.
I've been keeping it simple recently.
Cool. Yeah, I'm leaning back on a big rock in the forest and watching the twilight of the sun, and I've been just eating ice because I'm thirsty.
Ice?
Ice, yes. I just saw some
Okay.
ice, so I ate some ice. Even though water isn't primal, and I'm aware, but cheat meal.
You can have a little bit of water.
Yeah.
I learned recently that Astrology says you can have more than I realized. You can have I think it's like 6 ounces a day, like 2 ounces 3 times a day or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I'm like, oh, well, I can have 2 sips of water every few hours. That's nice.
Yeah. I was aware he talked about you being able to drink water because we need some solvent or such that normal people on the diet
Yeah,
can
just
do
to-
it like
yeah.
more than he could, or for example. Yeah, solvent. Yeah,
I talk about this like in the very beginning of my book, how you do need some detoxifying foods every day, act as solvent. So like having the 4 ounces of water a day is actually optimal to help like eliminate waste and remove dead cells, whatever, etc.
yeah. When I drink a lot of raw milk, like 4 liters a day, because I'm tall and thirsty and hungry, then I don't drink any water. But when I don't have raw milk and I drink water, then I always put some raw eggs and apple cider vinegar in it, or not the apple cider vinegar not so often because it can demineralize you. But yeah, I always drink water with
That fucked
something.
my teeth up.
What? Yeah.
If I would have tooth pain for like 2 days if I just had a tablespoon of vinegar and water like that.
Yeah. Though
'Cause I'm still recovering.
you used to drink a lot of it though, like back when you smoked weed to like break down the tars.
Yeah, I used to smoke like 1 to 2 grams of weed a day, and every time I took a hit of weed, I would take a sip of vinegar. So I was drinking like 4 to 10 ounces of apple cider vinegar a day while smoking like 2-3 joints a day, and then I was also fasting at the same time.
Yeah.
And I got 2 vaccines. I got 2 vaccines right before doing this. I got 2 vaccines. I went vegan. Then I started smoking all this weed, and then I was drinking the vinegar out of the bottle. So
Yeah.
all this stuff combined fucked me up. And like it's been 7 years now, and I'm in good health now. I just still have this tooth sensitivity that hasn't fully recovered yet because I haven't taken the raw fish seriously. Nor have I taken the cheese and honey seriously. So that's why I still have this mineral issue. Just because of laziness. I could have fixed it a long time ago if I was more disciplined.
Yeah, I think this is like a good way to start the podcast because I don't think a lot of people heard your story like I did. And basically to summarize, nowadays there are like 200,000 people who call themselves primal on the internet and who eat raw meat, and they started yesterday or last Friday because they saw it on TikTok. But I remember when I started to eat raw meat 5 years ago almost, when I was like 16 and now I'm 20, then there was no one online talking about raw meat. There were like 3 people. There was Sverich. He didn't even have the name or the channel Goatis yet. He was just Sverich. Then there was the Natural Human Diet. Then there was Derek Nance, who actually didn't even make content. There was just like this one documentary about him. Like, whenever you looked up raw meat on the internet, there was this 15-minute documentary about Derek Nance, and that's it. And and then there was you. There were like 4 people who made content about raw meat, and one of them were you. and every single person in the primal space actually knew you. Like, you were the most known person in the primal space. Now there is so many people in the primal space, and like almost no one in there knows you, because yeah, they're just not OGs. Like, I like to joke around and say that if you don't know who Scott Hall is, you aren't actually primal. Yeah, so would you like to tell us about your story, how you got into primal, and how it helped you, and so on?
Well, so I grew up atheist, and video games, straight video games, and I played some sports as a kid, but I was always exhausted. My dad would always be upset with me because I had no energy, thought I was lazy as fuck. But like standing for a long period, I was so exhausting. Playing baseball, going to the store, all I wanted to do was sit down, play video games. And like I remember, like one time, even when I was like 14 to 15, I wanted to get into hockey again because I played hockey as a kid, and like I threw up after just like practicing for like 20 minutes, and I felt so sick. So like I was weak my entire life. And so I grew up on a golf course where they spray massive amounts of glyphosate, and then I grew up on I had my mom says my dad put Pepsi in my baby bottle one time just to piss her off, because she was trying to raise me healthy. But I grew up on Adderall, prescribed, and I had severe Tourette's, and grew up on like the worst food possible, tons of medication for any problem, like really taking pills. Zyrtec, all these pills, allergies, etc. And then when I was 13, 14, there's a boy in my class, his name was James Panhorst, in middle school. And he went to my elementary school and my high school, but like in school, in class, he flexed his bicep and it was fucking huge. And like he was like my inspiration to start working out, actually. And because he flexed his arm, and this girl was like obviously so turned on. I'm like, oh my god, I want that. And then so I didn't get into the gym seriously for like actually a few years after that. But then when I was 16, I actually ended up quitting food coloring, food dye, red dye 40, blue 50, yellow 5, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then my Tourette's was gone within a week. And then I started doing the bodybuilder protocols, the protein powder. I put raw eggs in my protein powder with the pasteurized milk and like oats in the blender and do stuff like that, taking supplements and chicken and rice and broccoli and cheese. And I'd put the food in the microwave at school every day. And I went from like maybe 145, 150 pounds, really skinny, fat, pale. And then I got to 180 pounds in about 6 months of working out. I had 16.5-inch arms, and I wasn't super strong, but I did bench 195. That's the strongest I got at age 16.
That's good.
And then so like I got into nutrition because of this. I was very dedicated towards the gym, and it got me status in school. People like saw me like get strong as fuck over the summer, come back to school the next year, and just be big. And then I started smoking weed. One of my friends introduced me to weed, and I got obsessed with smoking weed. And so then I went from just playing video games inside to then I started going to the gym a little bit. That's good. But then I just play video games after the gym. And then once I started smoking weed, okay, I have to hide weed from my parents. So then I was smoking weed in nature all day, every day. So I went from like 24/7 video games to like no video games, just getting high as fuck in nature, finding the most beautiful spots. So, like my lifestyle from like 16 to 18 was constantly finding new people to smoke with and looking for the most beautiful smoke spots, and just like smoking people out, exchanging weed, blah blah blah. Like, so then it was like a weed social life, and then I had a really abundant social life for a while with the weed. Like, weed's a super easy way to meet people if you're a smoker. But anyway, I also started taking acid, and around the same time, because I was watching weed and psychedelic videos on YouTube started recommending me spiritual content. So then I saw meditation, astral projection. I watched a few videos. It clicked for me. So then I tried meditation, and then I immediately had a series of very powerful spiritual experiences. And then my atheism was cured because I realized that there's more to reality than just the physical body, or there's like, metaphysical energy beyond the body. Like if I can see outside my body, but my eyes are in my head, that means that there's more than just my eyeballs for seeing. Like there's a spiritual perception.
Yeah.
And then so I started taking acid, and I got really serious into the meditation. I fell off of it for a little bit, but then got back into it. And then when I got back into it, I became a vegan in order to enhance the practice. And I got 2 vaccines for high school at the same time, HPV. And then I started doing fasting. And like the first time I fasted, it blew my mind. I was like, man, this one 24-hour water fast was like more significant than like a lot of my 1-tab acid trips. Like it was just really profound for me the first time. And then so I got obsessed with fasting, and then I'd fast as long, as hard as possible, over and over, and I'd eat one meal and then just go back straight into fasting back to back, one meal every 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And keep in mind, I was a very heavy smoker before this, and I got the 2 vaccines. And, I was already kind of in weak health most of my life, and so I got a little bit stronger when I was a bodybuilder, but every, 2 months I'd get sick and have to take a week or 2 off the gym. And so, I keep getting sick, and it pissed me off because I wanted to go to the gym. I kept getting sick. So my health still wasn't perfect, but I was improving just with the better quality cooked foods, even though I was taking supplements. And, I was doing 2 or 3 raw eggs a day, and then milkshake. Wasn't much raw, but I didn't know about autogenous yet. And so essentially, I had an extremely transformative spiritual phase where I was living like a monk and meditating religiously and taking psychedelics. And I detailed that in my spiritual books and some of my other posts. But I started craving raw sushi with raw beef. I tried sushi with raw beef in it like a few months before I went vegan. And like my neighbors were Asian, from Asia, and like they knew how to make sushi, so they made it. And like I was never brainwashed about the raw meat, and like my mom told me there's raw beef in it. I'm like, okay. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know people knew it was bad. I guess I thought about it for a second, but I was like, okay, whatever. I ate it. It was really good. And I don't know if it was cooked beef or raw beef. I think it was raw beef, but I just knew that I was craving sushi. And then I found Cole Robinson, the snake diet, and then he ate raw meat in one of his videos, and I instantly knew it was what I was supposed to do. And then so after school, I found him in class. After school, I went to Steak and Shake and got cooked patties. It's like a fast food place, and I got some cooked patties, ground beef, and just ate that. Felt amazing. Took a bite of raw meat the next day. Took 2 bites the next day. Third day, called myself a fucking pussy bitch, and then ate a half pound of the raw meat. And then within the next month, I was eating like 2.5 pounds of chuck roast in one sitting. And this is when I really started smoking really heavy. Like 6 months after I started the diet, I'm like, oh, I have these raw nutrients. I can smoke now and not get damaged. And so then I started I did the moldy raspberry detox recipe like 4 or 5 months into the diet, and it fucked me up. Like within a week, I had no energy to do anything.
How much did you do of the moldy raspberries?
Like a cup of it.
Damn. Yeah, I've heard that Agenus talked about healing autism in a child by feeding them like 1 moldy berry a day for like a year or something. So I do this approach that I do one berry a day or something like that, and I don't see any negative effects. So I think
I was already super fucked. Like, if you're strong, it's different. Like if you're already like extremely weak and vulnerable,
yeah, but
and
it's
poor
a
health,
difference
and then you take it's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, I understand and I agree with you, but I don't think it's necessarily about me being healthier. It's about eating 1 berry a day versus eating a cup of berries at once.
Yeah, it is different, but still, like if you're weak, like if you just start the diet and you have all sorts of health issues, like I don't think you should be jumping into 1 berry a day. It's like put on 20 pounds of fat first, do the diet for 6 months or a year, then experiment slowly.
Yeah, though for all of those people who are watching us who don't understand what we are talking about, because none of you listened to hundreds of hours of workshops of Agenus like we OGs did years ago, but you just saw it on TikTok. So basically Agenus has this protocol where you get berries in a clean jar from the forest with no pesticides, and you ferment it basically like if you made high meat. I don't know are you supposed to air it or not, the berries?
I don't remember. I let mine get moldy in the package.
Yeah. So basically, you put berries in glass jar, like high meat preferably, and you wait until it grows mold, and then you eat that.
And I'm not saying you're supposed to do that in the package, by the way. You're not supposed to do it in the package. I was just a
Yeah,
noob. Like,
yeah,
once I fucked myself up again, I didn't really look at it that much again in the future. Like, yeah, it'll mold in the jar, and like, yeah, you probably should open it. Or I think you're supposed to leave the lid on loose or something, or like poke holes in the lid or something like that.
yeah. Well, but basically the meaning is that the how do fuck yeah, the mold in the berries, it when you eat it either once a day or you eat a quart or you eat like a quarter cup at once, who cares, then the mold will help your body eliminate or process heavy metals or some stuff from vaccines. I don't remember the details, but Agnew supposedly fed people these moldy berries, and after some time he looked at their blood and he found out that some proteins or metals or some harmful substances from vaccines were no longer in their blood after versus before they had these moldy berries. And then these
After like 6 months after the berries,
yeah,
it
yeah,
took a few months
and
for it
yeah,
to.
and then some of these people who he saw that their blood got clean of these things, they received more vaccines for travel reasons, even though Agnes told them to not do it. And after they got these new vaccines, they again had the nonsense in their blood, so they undone the healing they did. And yeah, the side effect of the moldy berries is that you will get very lethargic and very depressed and very. You will just not be able to function if you are not strong enough or if you did too much. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
supposedly able to heal autism. Like some children, supposedly, when they eat one berry a day, then it can help them to heal autism, supposedly.
It's because Adonis says that autism is heavy metal stored in the communication center of the brain, and the raspberry is what detoxes that metal specifically, and you have it slowly, and it heals the autism like 2, 3, 4 times faster than it normally would.
Yeah,
So just to really quick finish the story,
yeah, it's
I got fucked up off the moldy berries, and like I was already in a super vulnerable state of health. I was already weak. But when I first started, I actually felt absolutely amazing. But then I did the moldy berries, and I was fucked. I lost all this. I was blessed by the universe. I was feeling like a child again. I was so excited, so full of life, so full of health. Ate the moldy berries. 1 week later, I'm fucked. And then I was fucked for like, I felt like really bad for like 3 to 5 years. And like, the reason I took so long to heal is because I didn't know what I was doing. I was mixing lemon juice with red meat. I was drinking my milk cold. I was chugging. I wasn't making lubrication formulas. I wasn't doing milkshakes. I took hot baths sometimes, but not a lot. I ate frozen meat, and I just did everything wrong. So I made no progress, and I was still fasting once a month. And that fasting for 1 day, 24 hours on water, or dry fasting once a month fucked me up. Like, I didn't change anything in the diet. I just stopped fasting once a month. After 3 months, I felt so much better. Like, fasting for 1 day Diogenes said stories where he's done fasts that have taken like years to recover from. So fasting is really, really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, eventually I realized Diogenes is never wrong. I finally learned how to do it properly. And even when I realized he was never wrong, I still didn't fully understand the picture. Even though I studied him for like hundreds of hours for years, it still took 5, 6, 7 years. Like, even though I've been on the diet for 7 years and I've listened to several hundred hours of audios, I'm still learning. It's crazy. I don't even know how I could still be learning now. But I am still learning. And so I always update my book every time I learn something. And so like these other influencers, they never study Adonis. They don't know what primal diet even is. They think primal means raw meat, but primal is following Adonis. Raw meat is raw animal based.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I really have a bone to pick with 95 to 98, 99% of people who are primal influencers in the community, because it's just they're destroying the meaning of it, and they have all this ego involved in wanting to be right and that Adonis is wrong, and they want to disprove Adonis when they don't even know anything about health, and they think that they can just pull stuff out of their ass like, oh, Adonis was wrong about this. I'm like, you didn't even heard Adonis say it himself. You just know Adonis said that because someone told you he said that. You never actually even listened to him or read his book.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these people.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Like, I wouldn't like to be called like dogmatic, like I follow Adonis like a god or something, but there is personal experience, because whenever, like in this book, we want to live. He has remedies for certain diseases or illnesses, and whenever I have a disease, like well, disease or a sickness or something like a headache,
Symptom.
or what?
The symptom.
Yeah, the symptom. Whenever I have a headache or cough or intestinal cramp or anything, then I go into We Want to Live and I look up the remedy, and it always says something completely nonsensical like. If you cough, then you need to eat this exact proportion of honey, this fruit, and eggs or something. And I do that, and for some reason, then I experience that I start coughing a lot of mucus very gently. Like my dry cough turns into like a very gentle coughing of mucus that I just exhale, and mucus is out. And during a day, I don't have a cough anymore. If I have a headache, then he says, "Oh yeah, drink this mixture of lemon, honey, and water, and put something warm on your head." And it goes away. If you have intestinal cramp, it says eat half a papaya with half an avocado and your intestinal cramp will go away by 20 minutes. I do it and my intestinal cramping disappears in 20 minutes, which I don't even know how the hell happens because it takes way longer for the nutrients, for the food to travel to the part of my colon
Yeah,
when
I
I have
know.
cramps. Like
I
how,
know.
yeah, like
know.
yeah, I absolutely don't understand how none of the things
Yeah.
that Agnes describes work. But whenever I do them, they work. I absolutely don't know why. Like I could even like there is only
Well,
one thing. Yeah, you go.
You don't have to understand why it works. You know, like you do it and it works. You don't need
Yeah,
to know why.
yeah.
You know, like you're never gonna know why unless you dedicate like a massive amount of time to studying it. When you could have just done it and it could have just worked now, and you could have done something else with your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ajahn already figured out all the answers. You don't have to refigure out how health works. Ajahn already learned everything you'd ever need to know. Like, and if let's say Ajahn was wrong about 1 out of 100 things, you're gonna spend 1,000 hours studying in order to like make like 1% faster progress. You could have just done the diet, worked a miracle, and done something else with your life. You know, and you probably would have ended up realizing Ajahn is correct to begin with.
Yeah, I agree. Like you know what? It's fun. Like people say that Jack Cruz is better than Agenus and that he is so way ahead of the game. Though first of all, Agenus himself he talked about blue light being bad. Like he said, I asked you and you told me. Like he literally said that fluorescent lights are bad because they don't contain the full spectrum. Like he could say more, but yeah, he was fucking aware that artificial light sucks and.
And he did tell you like how much sunlight you need to get, and he, you know, some of his clients, he tell them every single time, you need to get more sunlight. You need to get more sunlight. People are like, I just didn't talk about the sunlight. I'm like, he did. He just didn't say it all the time. Like, he
bro.
said it like just a few times.
Yeah.
So, like, here's the number one thing with Ajahn. How often Ajahn says something is not proportional to how important it is. Ajahn could say something once, very casually, and never say it again, but it can still be of the utmost importance.
I agree. And I wanted
Just because
to say,
he doesn't emphasize it doesn't mean it's not important.
yeah, I actually wanted to say one thing about sunlight, which he actually emphasized, actually. Like, one of his clients, or someone in a Q&A, asked him, like, Agenus, I can literally not get sunlight. What can I eat to get vitamin D? And do you know what he told him?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he told him,
I know it. Yeah.
take a gun and shoot yourself if you cannot get any sunlight. Jokingly, and then the whole room
It's
erupted in
ridiculous.
laughter.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. People say Ajahn didn't talk about sunlight, you know.
Yeah,
So.
in his book, it literally says, like, when you are angry, get a hobby and get plenty of sunshine or something like that. Oh yeah, that's so food-centric. Like, Agenus, in some of the podcasts and interviews, he literally talks about EMFs, non-native EMFs, before he ever talks about food. And every damn workshop, he talks about having an extra keyboard to your laptop, and he even, like, talked about not being close to your blender, because your blender has EMFs in it. And then people say, oh yeah, that's a food guru. That's so ignorant of them.
Here's something that Ajahn talks about that I haven't seen any other nutritionist talk about. Ajahn talks about how you can activate the Kundalini to raise the body temperature, and like you detox faster, like taking a hot bath.
Wow, hot bath does the hot bath activates your Kundalini.
No. He says if you activate the Kundalini, it increases your body temperature.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about, like, one client's asking about Kundalini. He was like, yeah, casually talking about it as if he knows everything about anything that anybody would ever ask him. And he would just say something about, like, oh, maybe you should stop doing the Kundalini because it's raising your body temperature too much. You need to do this and this instead. And, you can just look up Kundalini on endogenous.net.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
And he didn't directly say, like, in that part that you can replace the hot baths with it. I think he did mention something about hot baths there. But the thing is, you can, like, combine quotes from him in order to, like, infer things. Like, he says that if you're in a hot environment, you're sweating all the time, then it's like taking a 24/7 hot bath if you're, like, in the tropical. So combining that with the Kundalini raises the body temperature, which Adonis acknowledges it can do, then it's like, okay, well, you're increasing the body temperature. It's like doing Tumo, the inner fire meditation, the Buddhist monk where you go in the snow and, like, it's like Wim Hof, the original Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Raises the body temperature. But I'm not saying, like, it's if you're in poor health, I'm not saying to do that. Like, that's a more like a spiritual training. That's not like a necessarily vaccine detox. You do that once you're already strong. I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that Agenus has an abundance of, which I've never seen in any other person at all, is aura. Like, I've seen, like, this clip of Agenus being asked about massages, and he says that, oh yeah, you have crystallized seed oils in your tissues, and when you get a deep tissue massage, it can, like, crack it, and it can be harmful. And he shows what you can do instead, and he, like, slides fingers around someone's hand, and, like, shows basically light touch massage. It's like basically the electricity in your fingers, it creates a pleasant sensation, and he's going around the room and he's learning people how to do it to each other, and it looks like awesome, and like the energy in the room, like everyone is laughing, like that, you can just see the energy of that guy, the aura, like the energy he has, what he brings to the room, and you cannot compare it to any other person, like any random nutritionist, like Sally Fallon.
Adonis is not a normal person.
I agree.
Adonis is not a normal person.
I agree.
I consider Adonis to be a saint.
Bro,
if you want to use Western vocabulary.
Yeah, it sounds crazy and cult-like, but I literally agree. I don't actually mind you say. I agree. I honestly agree. I'm not dogmatic, but I agree.
Let me elaborate.
Yeah, go
elaborate.
On. Yeah, speak.
So there's one common theme amongst very highly spiritually realized beings. They remember being born, and they're extremely conscious from a very young age. So Adonis can describe, like, he remembers being born in vivid detail up until he got this vaccine at a certain age, and then his memory cut off. But then, he was psychic. He talks about it all the time, how when he was autistic, he was psychic. And when he cured his autism, the psychic went away. But then he redeveloped his old psychic ability. He brought it back by learning astrology and tarot card reading and palmistry. And that eventually, his knowledge of the occult sciences eventually led him to be capable of developing iridology as we know it today. So iridology is an occult practice. You have to access your intuition. It's the exact same process of doing astrology, reading irises. So if you don't know how to do astrology, you're not going to be able to read irises. It's the same thing. You have to use your intuition. And it's like Adonis says, people can't see what he sees a lot of the time. Like, some people can, but some people can't when he's pointing to the irises. And so essentially, like, Adonis, well, first off, what other nutritionist has a story like Adonis?
No,
Adonis is the only one with a real story.
Yes.
And he's had many spiritual experiences, life and death experiences. And, like, look, he's almost died like 3, 4, 5 different times in his life. And, like, you can look at his astrological chart. He has some really, really difficult placements that, like, would kill you. And so he's almost died many times. And so, like, for example, he has a lot of planets in he has all the planets in the 6th, 8th, and 12th houses, which is all about struggle, obstacles, accidents, and death, transformation. So, like, every time he almost died, he learned something new. Like, when he tried to kill himself by drowning himself in the bathtub, he realized that the hot bath took the pain off his spine from the chemotherapy radiation, and he was able to sleep. And then, like, he tried to kill himself like 2 or 3 times, or he probably tried to kill himself a lot more times than that, but there's like 3 special times where he tried to kill himself that he learned something very powerful. Or, like, he almost died of the vaccine, that he got kidnapped, and he learned new stuff from that. Or when he ate the poisonous mushroom, he lost all his progress for like 10, 15 years of healing. It took him like 7 years to get good again, to get well again. And, like, every time he almost died, he learned something new, very transformative. And so, essentially, I see Adonis as the being that came to our existence to teach us the truth of the health. And I believe that, the spiritual gurus of the past the saints and the yogis, just because they didn't eat raw meat doesn't mean they weren't enlightened. I believe that the karma of society was not ready for raw meat, and that in the turn of the new century, the year 2000, the karma of the world changed, and now society is capable of being ready to have raw meat introduced to them. So I see Agenus as, I call him the prophet of health, literally the man who brought the truth of health to humanity, and that he is the most important figure in like last 1,000 years potentially. And just because nobody knows about him doesn't mean it's not true, but he delivered the truth of health, which is the most important knowledge of all existence, because like this is something that humanity has like never truly understood, because you can't learn all the stuff about health if you never lost it. So humanity like couldn't learn all these things about heavy metals because heavy metals used to like not really exist except for like burning coal. There's still heavy metals in the past, but like with how health is today, health had to get this bad in order to learn how to actually get to good health and what health is and how it actually works. You know, like in the past they could kind of describe how the body worked on an energetic level, but now like with technology we can like observe it. Agenus could. Modern science hasn't done it yet. But just like the spiritual knowledge of the past from the Vedas and the Buddhists and all this stuff is coming to be known to modern science today, you know what I mean? It's like we've already known this for thousands of years. It's just we're rediscovering it. And so the raw meat, it's like, yeah, of course, like we didn't have vaccines 1,000 years ago, so we have to do different foods to detox these vaccines. Like you can't just eat like a natural human. You have to do the detox recipes for like 40 years, and your kids are also going to be detoxing for the first 20, 30 years of their life, and then your grandkids are going to be the ones that are not going to have to do the primal diet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro.
They'll still have to eat raw food, of course, but they won't have anything to detox anymore.
Yeah, actually, I agree because this sounds crazy for most people, honestly. But let's look at one thing which Agnes talked about, like for example the hot baths. He said that our blood carries around nutrients in our body all of the time. But originally, how we were created to work is that our lymphatic system, which goes around our entire body, was supposed to feed all of our cells nutrients and such. But our lymphatic system is blocked because we consume seed oils. Like 99.99% of people on earth consume seed oils at some point in their life. And when you do this for long enough timeline, which we all do, our lymphatic system gets blocked and it no longer delivers nutrients to every cell in the body. And therefore, the blood has to do it. Originally, blood is only supposed to carry around oxygen, blood cells, and carbon dioxide and whatever. But now it has to carry around nutrients around our entire body because our lymphatic system doesn't work. This strips us of either 1/3 or 2/3 of our energy, which Agnes says. Yeah. And because of it, we have to sleep 8 to 10 hours a day. But
yeah, I know. We should be like 5 hours max.
I will elaborate. When he figured it out, he created a protocol where you are lying in a hot bath, which is like 39 to 42 degrees, which is in Fahrenheit, it's like 105 to 110. And it's if it goes below, you have to refill with hot water, which is very hard to do on a long enough timeline. So you need to get a hot tub,
It's so hard.
Or a hot spring, which can stay the same temperature for hours. And if you are in this water 105 to 110 or 39 to 42 degrees and you are there for 45 plus minutes, then, which is extremely hard and painful, and you need to have like a bucket with ice and you need like your wrist in it so your skeleton gets cold, or you need to get a cold shower every 30 minutes, or you need to get something cold over your head because you are passing out, you are fainting, it's painful, and that's 45 minutes and they are harder than the hardest workout you ever did. And only after what?
I wanted to say, you're not supposed to go from the hot to the cold for the whole body, only the head. I just want to tell people that. Because it can trigger massive nervous system detox. So I just want to warn them so they don't think to do that. You put the cold water in the head.
Yeah, well, too bad. I do cold showers.
You don't want to lose the body heat. You only want to cool off the head.
Yeah, but it's like 1 minute outside and then I go back in the...
Oh, you can do that. Other people can't. You're super strong. Most people can't do that.
Okay, I agree. Actually, I did plenty of cold exposure as well in the past, and I have body fat. Yeah. I've been on the diet for years. Okay,
so you have a strong Mars. Your chart, so you're good with that.
So basically,
I have a very weak Mars in my chart.
Yeah, so basically, after 45 minutes of pure pain, only then your body has started to melt the seed oils in your lymphatic system, and you need to do at least 1.5 hours in total, so 45 minutes of melting, to do any difference at all. But you need in total, I don't know, like 100 of hours of melting the seed oils in your lymphatic system. So you need to do like 100 baths, or you need to get a hot tub, and you need to sleep in the hot tub for like 3 hours a day. And ideally you do it every day or every other day, so that in span of several months of doing several hours a day of doing these hot baths, after an insane amount, like tens of hours of suffering in the hot tub, then you will have melted the seed oils in your lymphatic system, and you will have way more energy.
Wait.
Yeah, you go.
You'll have melted like a few layers out of like 30. You're gonna have like 30 layers, and if you do like 300 hours, you're gonna melt like 3 to 5. So like you're gonna have to do that for like 10, 15 years.
What? So much? I didn't even fucking know. That's a lot. Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, if you let's say you don't have a lot and you do it for 3 hours a day for 3 years, you might get most of it out, like if you're really religious about it. But like even when you're on the diet for 15, 20 years, you're still supposed to be taking the hot baths every day, because even though the lymphatic system is melted, it still helps to sweat more.
Let's take a quick break to acknowledge the sponsors of this podcast. And this podcast is sponsored by absolutely fucking no one. The only source of income I have got from this YouTube channel is from my paid school community, which is the first link in the description, which you might check out. It's like $4 a month, and it has a bunch of guides and stuff I made for the community, but honestly it's mostly about the community itself. No pressure, but you might check it out and then not join. I don't really care. Enjoy the podcast. Yeah, also I just had some recipes with like pineapple and coconut cream and whatever to help the seed oil stay liquid after you leave. Which again
break it down.
which again I have no clue how it works. But everything he says works, so I'm going to blindly presume it works, and most likely I'm right. Yeah,
and it's not necessarily blind, because here's the thing: I have gone against everything he said in the past, and so it's not that I'm blindly following him without proving it. No, I've proved that he's always right. And so when people say I'm following him blindly or blah blah blah, I'm like, no, it took me years to get to this point where I trust him like this.
Yeah, it's pattern recognition. If you, let's say, touch a stove 100 times, and each time you burn yourself, you aren't blindly trusting that the stove is going to hurt you if you touch it. The same way, if you follow Agilus 100 times, and each time it works, you aren't blindly following. You are literally acting according to your lived experience, because you can have pattern recognition. So after you've melted a fuck ton of these seed oils out of your body, you will literally sleep like 5 hours a day, and you will feel like you have slept 10. Like, that's such a difference. So we talked about Agilus being literally like a fucking saint or something, but I wouldn't be surprised, like I would agree, because absolutely no one in the world knows about this seed oil hot bath protocol ever. Like 99% of the world sleeps for 8 hours a day or more optimally, though naturally we are supposed to sleep like 4 to 5. So
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, you can go.
Some people might think they're following Augustus' advice and it doesn't work, and they're going to say Augustus is wrong, when in reality they didn't understand what he was saying to begin with, or they took the wrong advice at the wrong time because they misunderstood their issue. And so just because you have to understand that you might have misunderstood him, or maybe somewhere else he would have said something different that'd be better for you, because like you're listening to him answer other people's questions. You're not asking him questions yourself. Like what they need might be slightly different than what you need, right? That doesn't mean Augustus is wrong. He was just answering another person who had a similar issue, maybe not the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to say that people in the comments are going to be like, "Oh, I tried Augustus and it didn't work." I'm like, nope. You probably didn't even like understand the deeper nature of how the primal diet worked, and so you weren't doing it in alignment with how Augustus would actually recommend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to talk about the sleep thing. It's like, look, here's the sleeping less has been like my number one motivation for the primal diet, because I'm like, wow, Augustus sleeps 3 hours a day. What if after like 15, 20 years on the diet, it's like, wow, I could start meditating. I could meditate from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., sleep from 1 to 4, and then meditate from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. every single day.
That's a grind.
Wow. I could be meditating like 8 hours a day if I had Audrey's level of health. You know what I mean? It's like I could drive my car at night and be completely fucking wide awake like it's noon and nobody else is awake. You know, I can be doing that. Like, imagine if I had roommates or I was living with somebody. It's like, oh, what did you do today? You're just waking up. Like, the other person's just waking up, and like you're like, yeah, I've already like written 100 pages in the book, and then blah blah blah. I've, like, worked for 6 hours, and they're just waking up and they're exhausted. And they take 3 hours to get their energy going, and they're like on their phone waking up slowly. And it's like I've already been awake for 6 hours. So it's like if you sleep like 3 hours a night, like Agonist, it's like after a week you're gonna have like an extra 42 hours of wakeful periods, like 42 hours of wakeful of being awake throughout the week. And also, every single hour, it's not just 1 more hour awake, it's every single hour is higher quality. Like, you're just so attuned to everything, and your energy is so clear because you have nothing impeding your energy or filtering your consciousness through toxins. Like, you have metals in the brain, like, the conscious experience you have of life is not going to be the same because it's going to be diluted, it's going to be poisoned. So a lot of the time, your anger, your negative feelings, all this bad junk in your life, bad vibes, a lot of people's bad vibes is just they have toxins. Like, it's like you have a light bulb. Your soul is like the light bulb. But if you have this shit around the light bulb, the color is going to come out brown and murky, and it's going to be dim and blah, blah, blah. You can't actually see the true light underneath all the junk, which is the toxins in the body.
Yeah.
Like, we are supposed to be operating on such another level. Like, we are so far from how we're supposed to be.
Yeah, and no one except Agenus ever figured anything like this specific hot bath detox out. Like, people do saunas and whatever, but like
Which is retarded. It's the stupidest thing. Like, they know nothing.
Yeah, like there is no one who will get you these results which Agenus does. Like, there are, like, okay, I agree, you can achieve a lot of health with, I don't know, Jack Cruz or other people, but you will never achieve, like, it's not even just the health in general, it's so specific. Like, you do a hot bath and you eat cheese strain of raw unsalted cheese every 5, like, it's so specific, the instructions, and if you follow them, like, the results, they are so ahead of the game of anyone else.
Here's the thing. You have to do this. You don't have a choice. There isn't something else that could ever be better for you. Literally. Like, you're going to remove this shit from the body. Like, you're never going to remove all this stuff unless you have the coconut cream. Unless you're doing the cheese trains. If you're not doing the hot baths, it's like those 3 things are mandatory for every single person in existence. If you grew up eating cooked food and you got a vaccine as a child, or if your grandparents got a vaccine and your parents didn't detox it yet, it's just being passed down, et cetera, et cetera. All the heavy metals throughout the bodies, and the cooking in metal puts the metal in the food, and then, pollution, mercury from burning coal, car exhaust, cigarette smoke, polyester carpets in the houses you're breathing your entire fucking life, and all these chemicals everywhere you go, fragrances, et cetera, et cetera.
I agree.
We're way more toxic than you realize.
Yeah, it's completely overlooked.
And I'm trying to cuss less, by the way.
Cool. Yeah, I'm absolutely blind to cursing. I haven't even noticed if you cursed or haven't.
I feel bad when I watch a video where I curse. I don't like the vibe.
Yeah, like when in Czech Republic, when anyone says like he's trying to curse less, then we say like, "Hey bro, have you finally stopped fucking cursing?" or something like that. Okay, so let's figure out a next topic. Like, I haven't planned anything. I'm just literally sitting in the middle of the forest. My feet are freezing, and I'm looking at the waxing moon and the twilight, and it's going to be dark soon. So
I'm sitting on the couch looking out the open window, and I see the tree without the leaves, the winter tree, and the clouds moving behind the tree, and it's the warmest day it's been in a long time.
Yeah, how many degrees is it?
It's pretty nice. Like 63 degrees.
Yeah, that's
Fahrenheit.
I don't know how much will it be in Fahrenheit. I mean Celsius, but here it's below freezing basically. It's Central European
cold here.
Yeah, and
I'm also high on the weed.
Oh yeah, we can.
The raw weed.
Yeah, we can talk about chewing raw cannabis. How do you do it?
Yeah, have you done it?
Yes, I've done it many times. Yes.
And it works for you?
Yes, it does. I've also had friends I've had friends for whom it both does and doesn't work.
Yeah, it works for some people, it doesn't work for some.
Yeah, so for people who absolutely never heard of the concept of chewing raw weed, can you explain it to them?
Yeah, so I was a super big pothead, and I knew smoking was bad, and I was on primal diet, and I just was like thinking it was okay when it wasn't, and I knew it was bad, but I wasn't ready to quit. And I wasn't able to quit until I finally started eating high meat every day. Then I was able to quit for the first time ever after years and years and years and years of trying to quit. Like I tried to quit for like 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, high meat being
then I finally
fermented
quit.
meat. Fermented meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was a big smoker since 2016. I didn't quit smoking until 2021. And Dakota, come here, the dog. And so eventually I quit smoking. Then I was getting the marijuana wax, the concentrate, which was made with butane and shit, but I didn't know it. I didn't know it was like that. And I'd cook in the oven in order to decarb it, and then I just, you know what wax is? Marijuana wax.
Nope.
Like it's like you're turning 100 grams of weed into 1 gram. You just get this wax, this gooey stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's like goo.
yeah, I do know. Yes.
Yeah, and so if you cook that and you eat it, it gets you stoned. But eventually, it started giving me headaches, and then I learned how it was made and how to stop. And then I'd only do it if I had stuff that was only heat extracted, where you could take weed and take like a hair straightener. It gets really hot, and you squeeze it really fucking hard, and the juice comes out of it. And then you cook that and you eat it. But I started getting headaches, so eventually I quit eating the marijuana wax that was cooked. And I spent like 3 to 6 months being sober, and I was like bored, and I was sober. I was depressed. I was living in the car for the first time because my mom got kicked out. I was homeless in the car. I was with a girlfriend, my favorite girlfriend ever, actually. And she slept in the car with me in the winter. And I was sober for a while, and eventually I was in Colorado, and then Raw Fat God. I haven't heard from him in a long time.
Yeah, I remember him. He was like the 5th out of 5 people ever who made Primal Diet content.
The only people who made content was me, him, and maybe Primals made a little bit of content. There's like 3 people ever.
Yeah, do you remember?
Everybody else didn't show their face. I'm talking about people who show their face, by the way.
Yeah. Do you remember Emily's Root Awakening? She was making content around the time Ralph had got dead.
Yeah, she was nice. She was always very nice to me.
Yeah, now she does like some relationship coaching videos.
I think she's deleted her content. I don't know.
Yeah, she did. And now she has like a YouTube channel with relationship stuff. But only people who follow her are people who followed her from back when she did health stuff. And the same thing with like Joey Schwartz. I think he did also content around that time. And he deleted everything.
No, Joey Schwartz is a lot later. He's not one of the original people.
Yeah, but it was old enough.
He was like 3 years late.
Yeah, but it was still way sooner than everyone else. But again, he deleted all of his content, and then he made some insurance content.
People don't know.
Yeah, you go.
All these fucking sorry to cuss again. All these new people on the Primal Diet, they're starting their school communities and they're saying autogenous is wrong. I'm like, bro, you started the diet within the last year. You don't even know the history and the culture of this community and what's going with like what's happened. Like you're not just some new, like you're not like, creating your own thing. Like you're becoming a part of this like extended movement. But anyway, back to the weed.
Yeah.
Eventually, Raw Fat God sent me a quote saying you could chew the weed, and I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I never heard autogenous say that. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. So I went to the dispensary, bought weed, and then I chewed it. My mouth was burning so much because it was so spicy.
Yeah,
I was chewing a big amount.
bitter.
I didn't know it was a big amount at the time. And I went to the park, and I got so high. I'm like, oh, my God, it changed my life. I was like, oh, my God, I can get high now without any guilt that I'm harming my health. Oh, my God, it's amazing. And then for years, I was still worried, like, is it wrong of me to do this? Is getting high bad for me secretly? And am I coping? Is weed bad for me? And I'm lying to myself. And I was worried for years, like feeling a little guilty secretly. And eventually it started giving me headaches. And I learned it's because it wasn't clean. And then, so like, now I only consume weed if it's homegrown. I'm extremely, extremely, extremely picky with my weed quality. But I'm really good at finding things. Whatever I need, I can find it so easily. Now, it's called sales skills. It's called networking and marketing. Not marketing, but like being able to talk to people and ask questions and know where to find certain people. Like you need to find someone who grows weed, doesn't use anything at all. And some people say they don't use anything and it's still bad for whatever reason because they're using something without even realizing it. Like they're using some processed fertilizer that has bullshit in it already. They're using some dirt. They're buying dirt, soil, nutrients for the soil that's chemicals. They don't even realize it. They say they don't use any chemicals, but they are. They don't even realize it because they don't know what they're even, So if it's actually organic, then it's great. And modern weed has way too much THC, not enough CBD. That's true. So I do believe that marijuana can be detrimental if you take too much, mainly for the reason of the THC being too high and the CBD being too low. But if you had the proper stuff, then I think it's completely fine. And so for me personally, I don't feel as bad doing it, but sometimes, so basically, I can eat high meat every day and still not be very happy. It takes me from feeling pretty low to feeling better a lot of the time. But here's the thing, like, if your life isn't set up to be able to do what you want to do, it doesn't matter how healthy you are if you're not free. And so, like, if you're stuck in a job or, like, any situations and, the thing comes to, it's like, people will say, weed is going to prevent you from finding happiness because it makes you happy with nothing. And it's going to make you complacent and it's going to make you not work and all this stuff. And
It
like,
sounds
sure, for
it
some
sounds
people, but
reasonable,
not for
though,
me.
this line of thinking.
It's what?
I think it sounds somewhat reasonable. Like, when you are disciplined enough to chew it raw and to find only good sources, and then you have to chew it for 20 minutes and then you wait 4 hours until it kicks in, it's a completely different level than a guy who basically smokes whatever, whenever, instantly and fucks up his health in the process. It's completely different
That's
thing.
what I tell people.
Yeah, but
It's like you're smoking weed, you're getting high instantly. You chew weed, it's like you feel it a little bit in 30 minutes, but like if you're gonna chew weeds, if you want to get high and go to a concert, if you want to get high and do something, you eat the weed 3 hours before you like 1 to 3 hours before.
yeah, and it kicks in randomly. Like sometimes it's 1.5 hours, sometimes it's
Oh
4
my God.
hours randomly.
I've eaten weed, and it didn't kick in for like 5 hours, and I was fucked up. When this has happened many times, where I intended to be sober by the end of the day because I was gonna go do something, like go speak. I've been to I went to a Primal Diet meetup, and I ate weed, and then I had to give a talk 5 hours into the meetup, and I was like too high, and I didn't want people to know that I was fucked up. And so I was super anxious talking to the whole group because I was way too high. It was 5 hours later. I thought I was going to be sober by then. So sometimes if you have something to do, the weed waits to kick in for it waits till later to kick in. It's like the energy. It's not just metabolites, blah blah blah. It's you're ingesting a life force, and that has a life of its own almost.
Yeah, I use it only
the energy has to express itself through you.
Mm-hmm. I use it very rarely, literally few times a year, mostly for, I would say, religious experiences, somewhat. I never chew raw weed and then go.
I have a new rule. I meditate every time I get high, so I'm looking to have religious experiences every day.
Yeah. What I do, I
but
chew.
Religious, spiritual.
Yeah, whenever I chew it, I go outside into nature, and it has to be good weather. Like you said, you were looking for the best spots in nature to smoke in. Then I always go outside in nature to find good weather. I mean, in the good weather, to watch the sunset, to watch the sun, to watch the moon, to watch the stars.
It's completely different than smoking weed in your fucking trashy bum house with garbage everywhere.
Or smoking weed.
Computer.
Smoking weed and going to pub or playing video games. That's such a waste. But if you chew weed raw, and then you go outside and you see the stars and you see the moon, which isn't a new moon. Basically,
Here's what I've been doing. I wake up at 5:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. I immediately chew weed, and then I look at Jupiter while I'm stoned 1 hour before sunrise, and it feels like a sacred experience. Get high before the sunrise and look at Jupiter at 5:30 a.m. And from 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. that's the best time. 5:45 to 6:30 is the best time.
Bro,
I meditate. I was blessed last week. And so I've cleaned my living room to have lots of space now for meditation, and it's very nice. I sleep in the living room. I don't have a bedroom. The room that could be in my bedroom is being used for storage because I wasn't living here for a while. And so I woke up one morning, and I looked outside my window and I saw a very bright star, and I immediately felt this is a good sign. This is special. And then I was like, wait, is this a planet? And then I pulled out my phone and used the app to look at the sky. I'm like, oh my God, it's Jupiter. And so Jupiter is a very, very special planet. They're all special, but Jupiter is called the Guru. And it represents protection, blessings, like having it's like a teacher. It's like the lineage of like you're a devotee to your master and you follow your guru. Like in ancient times, you have like a discipleship and a mentor
Sage.
and apprenticeship. What?
Sage.
I think K2 might be the sage. This is a little different. So like a yogi, someone who has no teacher and they live in a cave, that's K2. Jupiter is like the temple. So Jupiter is like religion. It's like you have like a lineage with a name. A yogi or a sage is more like someone who renounced society. They don't have a teacher. They don't have a religion. They don't have any beliefs. They live in the mountains by themselves and they meditate for 40 years in a cave. That's K2. Jupiter is like a temple, religion, but it's also like it protects like the father. So Jupiter can be some significations of the father, but it's mainly sun is the father. But essentially, Jupiter brings it's dharma. It's like righteousness. It's not righteousness, but it's like alignment, the divine alignment. And so I got stoned and I looked at Jupiter, and that day I suddenly became capable of reading astrology charts. Like I've never been able to like really feel the chart come to life. And then after that, I was looking at charts, and the chart would like literally come to life. Like it's like the brightness on my screen on my phone would increase, but it wasn't. It was like my third eye opening basically. And so I became capable of like feeling the chart, not just like you can become capable of like feeling the chart. It's like the universe, Jupiter, allowed me to unlock the perception to be able to understand some of these deeper things. Like it's not just about learning something in a book. It's about like meditating, devoting yourself to it to become capable of unlocking this perception. And so essentially for the next few days, I was meditating on Jupiter every morning, and it was a very powerful experience every time. And my life changed, and Jupiter represents optimism and enthusiasm and all this stuff. And I was like so full of excitement these days. I was like, wow, like it really worked. Exactly. Like I'm feeling like blessed by Jupiter. And so Jupiter contacted me, like I looked at Jupiter on that day for a reason. It wasn't random. And so Jupiter has been a big theme of my life recently, but the best time to meditate is between 90 minutes and 45 minutes before sunrise. 45 minutes before the sun rises, that's when the sky starts to get brighter. So if the sun rises at 7:15, that means at 6:30, you can start to see the brightness of the background start to increase very slowly.
The dawn.
What?
It's called the dawn.
Yeah. And so you want to meditate 45 minutes before the dawn. And so 90 minutes to 45 minutes before sunrise, that's when you want to meditate. And so Jupiter is directly opposite from the sun right now. And what that means is right before the sunrise is Jupiter setting, so it's a very convenient time to be able to see Jupiter. So at 5:30, Jupiter is like very easily seen in the sky in the west direction. And so I recommend meditating on that right now while you can see it. You won't be able to see it in 6 months. And now that it's wintertime, the nights are longer. So you can't wake up and meditate 90 minutes before the sunrise and still get a full night of sleep in the summer, unless you're androgynous. So like I sleep 9 hours a night. Or if I'm not sleeping well, I might lay down in bed for an hour or two extra. So every night I'm investing 10 to 11 hours to my rest. So like I set aside like 9 hours, 9.5 hours to my sleep every night. And so like if I'm going to wake up at 5:30, I have to go to bed at 8:30 to get 9 hours of sleep. Then I meditate. So go to bed at 8:30, wake up at 9:30, and then go to bed at 8:30, wake up at 5:30, and then I have 15 minutes to wake up, and then from 5:45 to 6:30 meditate, and then I can go back to bed if I want to sleep more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to do that, but sometimes waking up that early is makes me tired. So sometimes I can only do it 3 or 4 days in a row before I need to sleep in again, because especially if I'm going to the gym and I'm strength training, I need more sleep. So depending on how much you can get away with, some people don't need 9 hours of sleep like me. Get a full night of sleep, wake up, meditate before the sunrise. If you want to do it on special occasions, push yourself by having less sleep and then take a nap during the day, you can do that, but only do that if you're already in strong health. You're wanting to develop your health, you need to maximize the sleep. Sleep 9 hours a night and take a nap too in the middle of the day.
Okay, so there is a significant difference between smoking a joint and then going to a pub. And waking up at 5 a.m. to chew weed so you can meditate and stare at Jupiter before the dawn even. That's literally some wizard alchemy shit. That's something what Gandalf would fucking do. This is literally some medieval wizard alchemist living in a tower. What he will do? That's fucking crazy, bro. That's
very
cool.
powerful.
Yeah, I believe.
It feels like a sacred experience. It's extremely powerful. You get high at 4 a.m. and then look at the stars. It's a very powerful experience.
Yes, I agree. People.
It immediately shoots you into this cosmic, universal divine experience.
Yes, I know what you mean.
All you have to do is chew weed.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If I do it sober, sometimes it can still be powerful, but just because I need weed to get my foot in the door doesn't mean weed's bad. It's allowing me to be able to do it. You're oh, you're dependent on weed. You can't do it without it. I'm I can do it without it. Just the weed makes it a lot easier. And if it doesn't hurt me, why not?
I agree. People could say, weed makes you lazy and not productive. Yeah, weed, if you chew weed raw, it makes you so lazy and not productive that you wake up an hour before the dawn to watch Jupiter and then go work out. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one of the last times I chewed raw weed, I was with a friend and we were walking all day to this castle, which was 400 meters above the ground. And we seen the horizon kilometers away from us. And I've seen the sunset, and then we seen the full moon rise, and then we seen the stars. And we were in this broken castle above the horizon, and I've seen everything in the distance. And the sight was just so beautiful. And getting really stoned by chewing weed that day, it made the whole experience very beautiful. It will be beautiful even without it, but with it was even more beautiful. And until I die, I will remember to that evening on that castle, on the top of it, watching the down at the world below and seeing the sky and seeing everything. And I will be until the day I die, I will be grateful that I had raw cannabis during that experience, and that it made it way better than if I didn't have it. I will literally be, until I die, I will be glad that I was stoned that day. And I believe I can have more experiences I have more experiences like this when I'm glad that it sounds like it's hedonistic and it's you are having pleasure now from drugs, but you are robbing yourself of pleasure in the future, that you are stealing your dopamine from the future. Bro, I get stoned in nature while watching a sunset, and 3 years after, I remember it, and the memory of something which happened 3 years before, it makes me happy, and it makes me glad that I went through it. That doesn't sound like instant gratification to me. That's yeah.
There's no come down, there's no withdrawals. It's
Yes.
if your life sucks, and you start eating weed and your life gets better, yeah, if you quit weed, you might get depressed again, but you're depressed to begin with.
Yeah, it's not that quitting weed makes you depressed. It's that the weed just stopped making you not depressed.
Yeah, and so people think that it's gonna if you chew the weed, then you become happy with a bad life. But we're not saying chew weed and play video games and I'm saying chew weed and meditate, chew weed and play the hand drums, chew weed and hike in nature.
chew weed and
chew
watch the
weed and
full
write.
moon. Watch Jupiter,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, Jupiter is a really
And
cool planet, bro.
it's like,
Yeah, you
even
go.
though like I'm depressed a lot of the time, like, and I want to improve my life, like sometimes I'll be sitting on the couch not wanting to do anything. I chew weed and then I work for 5 hours. Then I get off my ass and actually do something for myself now that I got high. So it's not making me less productive, it's making me capable of being more productive. Because if I didn't get high, I probably would have just laid down like and been like bored for 3 hours not wanting to do anything.
Interesting. Yeah. Bro,
It's like,
let's talk
once my
about
health develops, as my health develops, I won't need it as much. But while I'm still like developing my health, like it is helpful, you know? And so it's like, okay, let's say I had 3 girlfriends and 10 best friends and we hang out every day and it's a drum circle and I have my own property and I live in nature and I have online income. Okay, I'd probably be happy 24/7, but I'm not in that situation right now, you know? It's like right now it's like I have like 1 or 2 friends I see once or every week or two, and I don't have a car so I can't go anywhere, and I'm stuck in my mom's messy house with EMF. You know what I mean? So it's like I chew the weed just to have a little bit of motivation to be able to make some content, make some videos, think about something so they can like get the ball rolling a little bit.
Yeah. I myself, I don't actually like using weed for, like, when I use weed, when I chew weed, I do it to enjoy myself. Like, I want to reward myself and go into nature and whatever. I will never use it to be productive myself, but if it helps you to be more productive, then I see no reason why you wouldn't do it, honestly. Yeah. If you already do high meat anyway and your health is fine, then yeah.
And also like in 2025, I was sober for probably like 4 months straight. So it's not that I, never get off of it.
Yeah, let's talk about Jupiter a bit more, because I have a funny thing that I see the number 24 everywhere, to the point of it being actually very significant. And a lot of people in my life have like the number 24 in their like birth date. And what is funny is that I worship Wotan or Odin, basically Odin, but the Germanic name for him. And Odin is basically like the Roman god Jupiter, which is Zeus. He's basically Odin. Like, not exactly. You could say like the gods are not 1-to-1 equal. Like the Roman gods aren't the Germanic gods. You cannot just equate them. Or that if you want to equate them, then Mercury, the Roman god Mercury, is more cognate with Odin than Jupiter. But if you look at it thoroughly, then Jupiter or Zeus is very close to Odin. Odin is basically, he has more archetypes. He's like the god of the dead and like god of wisdom and whatever. And you could say that Odin is Mercury. But Odin is also king of the gods, king of the sky. He's even called the Thunderer in one of the Norse poems. He's basically very similar to Jupiter as king of the gods and king of the world. So you could say that Odin is Jupiter, or at least the aspects of Odin which I honor and worship the most are the kingly, godly aspects of him, which are basically the qualities which Jupiter or Zeus have as well. So I could say that Odin is Jupiter, and I see the number 24 absolutely everywhere. And even in my own birth date or birthday, like I see 24 everywhere. And when I looked up something interesting. The sign of Jupiter, the astrological sign of Jupiter, is literally a 24. It's this thing which looks like a 2 with a line in it, which makes it look like 4. It's literally 24. So I believe like I'm marked by this 24 number, and I believe it can be related to Jupiter. Yeah, that's what I could say.
I don't know anything about that or Jupiter in 24. I don't know.
Look up the astrological sign of Jupiter once, and the sign literally looks like the number 24.
I am looking at it right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you sure it's Jupiter? Like, it's like this hook, and the hook looks.
But so let's see. So 3rd house, 6th house, like what you have to do every day, not because you want to, but because you have to. It's like responsibilities. It's like the hustle, it's the grind every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3rd house is communication. And so it's like, okay, Mercury is about communication also. So this is a very communicative period. So no wonder you started making content during this Mercury period, because Mercury rules your third house of communication, and Mercury itself is the planet of communication. And it's
Wow.
also in the sixth house. So it's like daily responsibility, like you have to work on it every day. You know, like it's called pranaba karma, which means it's karma that you have to pay off. And so it's like something you have to grind. You have to grind this every day.
Mhm.
And then so, yeah, we can look at the planets. So Jupiter is currently transiting over your planet Saturn. It's going retrograde, so it's about to go back over Saturn, and then it's gonna go direct again soon. And so, ever since, okay, this is a really good activation for you for your career. And so, Saturn is in the sign of Gemini, and so Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So that means during this Antardasha, which started in April of 2025, your Saturn also got activated, and it's in the house of communication. So you're making content now only after this period, and that's because the house that the Saturn is in got activated, and then Jupiter blessed it, expanded it. Jupiter finally activated the karma, and so like you're going to be fully integrated into your new career by June. So like right now, over the next month or two, you're going to learn, and then like 3 or 4 months from now, you're going to have another another lesson. And so there's like 3 primary things. Like Jupiter went over it, it went backwards over it, and now it's going to go forward and go back over it a third time in June. And so since Saturn is active by Dasha and Mercury is on it, and Jupiter's on it, so when a house or planet is active by Dasha, and then a benefic planet like Jupiter goes over it, then it brings expansion and blessings. So your career activated because it's active by Dasha, and then Jupiter is going over it. So Jupiter is basically directly over your Saturn right now. So what you want to do is go to KRS Astrology, look up Jupiter Transit 2025, and then look up at the part of the video where it says Jupiter transits over Saturn, and then watch that, and then see if that's accurate.
I'm writing it down, and I'm supposing it will be accurate.
Oh, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it's been accurate for me for most of what you said. You know, always there's differences in the chart versus what the video is, so it's not always 100% accurate, but the videos are pretty good. But if you give you a reading, then it's even more accurate because he's looking at your chart. So yeah, right now is the perfect time for your career. Jupiter's also aspecting your moon, directly opposite, and so that can support travel, support food, or teaching, because ninth house is teaching. Yeah, no wonder you're making content right now. It's so obvious.
Holy fuck.
Now we can look up what's coming up.
Bro, so I'm not even like a person with free will. I'm just doing something as the stars please. That's funny.
Look, just because you can't control the weather doesn't mean you don't have free will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
like if you want to collect rainwater, it has to be raining first. It doesn't mean you don't have free will just because you can't make rain fall from the sky at any moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good argument.
It's like the astrology tells you what level you're in. What scene are you in? What chapter of your life are you in? You get to do whatever you want, but when you're in that part of your life, you're navigating that part of your life. You don't get to pick where you are. You just pick what you do while you're in that area, that phase.
Yeah.
So it's like you can go through a period for 2 years where girlfriends are not activated, and you could be wanting a girlfriend so bad, try to meet girls for 2 years, and you just think you're a loser because you can't meet girls. And when in reality, the astrology wasn't activated. There's nothing you could have ever done to meet girls at that time. And then so it would have been better to just not waste your time and then focus on girls when it is activated, for example. So it's like, it's really good to know what's going on. So now you know. You have to focus 100% of your attention. Your number one karma right now is making content, because it's the third house communication, it's your Saturn, it's your career, and it's being blessed by Jupiter only for this short period. So you have to do it now because Jupiter's blessing isn't going to come around again for a while.
All right.
It takes 12 years for it to go. It takes 12 years for Jupiter to go all the way around.
All right.
Go over again.
You heard it, guys. I will log in and I will make a YouTube video every day or something. Okay.
Well, it's like you don't have to make a video every day. You have to dedicate your sixth house, your daily efforts, your daily routine has to involve the content creation.
Yeah. Okay. I will.
But here's another thing. Your Mercury sits in the 12th house, which is the house of escape. It's about dreams. It's bed pleasures. It could also be drugs because come here. Because it's about like drugs are a form of escape. And so like sex, having dreams, it's all bad. It's escape stuff. So Mercury in the 12th house is 12th house of escape. Meditation is also a form of escape, but it's in the sign of Mercury. And so Mercury is, analytical and such. So like, let me think about what you do with that. Mercury is not like a very grounded planet, but Dakota, come here. Where is she? The dog. Dakota, come here. She's not listening. Dakota, come here. Dakota, come on. Dakota, come on. So 12th house is the house of isolation. So Dakota, come here. Dakota. 12th house is the house of isolation. Dakota, come on.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could be in nature during this time. I think Mercury represents wilderness. I don't know, because like Mercury is the color green, but wilderness is more so like Rahu. But anyway, I'm going off a tangent, got a little distracted. But basically, Mercury in the 12th house, like, okay, it's a sign you need to be doing something that involves your Mercury in the 12th house. So like, it's not clicking for me right now. Like I could say random things coming to my mind, like Mercury's friends. Maybe you don't have friends during this period. Maybe your friends are isolated, or maybe you go into isolation with your friends. It's in the sign of Pisces, which is, about meditation. It's about space. Space is Pisces. Space, like the ocean or outer space or the ether itself. So Mercury in the sign of space, ether, that could be like intuition. Like you need to be intuitive about like intuiting information. So like your Mercury is debilitated in the sign of Pisces. Mercury is weak in the sign of Pisces. It doesn't mean you're retarded, but it means your mental faculties are, your intelligence, there's some impairment to it. It doesn't mean you're stupid, but because Pisces is about space, Mercury is about like precision and specifics. And so like Pisces just wants to meditate, but Mercury just wants to read books and, run around. And so Mercury and Pisces, it can make someone scatterbrained. It makes them all over the place because their intellect is just space. It's not focused. It's everything. And so it can have trouble staying on track, and it just, encompasses everything. So like the remedy for Mercury and Pisces is like, if you want to, have your intelligence attuned, you have to become intuitive. You have to meditate. And Jupiter is the sign of, Pisces is the sign of Jupiter. So Jupiter controls Sagittarius and Pisces. So Mercury and Jupiter are enemies. So Mercury is not comfortable in Jupiter's house because he's like, I know I'm in this guy's house and he doesn't like me. So Mercury and Jupiter don't like each other. Mercury is neutral. Mercury is okay with Jupiter, but Jupiter doesn't like Mercury. So, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just some general stuff. Like whenever I say something with astrology, you could always assume that what I say, there could be something deeper to what I'm saying that I'm not even aware of, but the universe is communicating to you through me by just telling me what to say, and I don't even know what I'm saying. And so, like, not everything I say is going to be perfectly accurate, and some of what I say is encoded without me even knowing it. So...
Yeah, a lot of people...
but we can talk about that another time.
A lot of people could say that this is just mumbo-jumbo nonsense or whatever, and that it's, basically nonsense. But even if it was nonsense, you are completely competent and educated in it, and you are just on point, and it's awesome. It just reeks of competence in this field for you. Yeah. And I will say, it's pretty accurate based on what you said and based on what you said in the past when we like talked on message, when we chatted before and you gave me reading before. It was also pretty accurate. Yeah, people are free to not believe in astrology, but I'm confident in it being pretty accurate, honestly. Yes. So now we could talk about edginess a little bit more. We just made fun of people for eating raw meat and not knowing anything about what edginess actually said. Do you have any basic primal diet principles which you could tell to people who basically eat raw meat but never heard of edginess? Like, what is there more to the primal diet than just eating raw stuff?
Well, I'll talk about the raw stuff really quick, just because it's what primal diet really is. Like, there's more to it, but like, you always have a tablespoon and a half of butter with every meat meal.
Yes, that's
you
what I
never
meant.
have frozen meat. Never have frozen meat. You never have cream with meat unless it's sour. You never have milk with meat unless it's a little bit. If the meat is sauteed, you can have a little bit more than just a little bit of milk.
Or if the milk is sour as well.
if it's sour, then yeah, it's fine. Um, don't drink vegetable juice within 60 minutes of meat. Don't have lemon juice, fruit with red meat. Unless it's papaya, pineapple, cucumber, tomato. But you have to peel the cucumbers. You don't have to peel tomatoes because of fiber in the skin. The vegetable juice, you have to put an egg or cream in it before you drink it every time. The juice only lasts for 3 days. You put honey in it to preserve it. You suck an egg every 5 minutes. You're not supposed to chug 2-3 eggs at a time. You're supposed to be having like one every 5 minutes, ideally. You fucking never ever have 5 eggs at one time. Like chugging a glass is stupid. It's just for attention.
Waste of
Don't know what they're
nutrients.
doing.
You just piss it out.
Like
Yes.
you can gulp like 2 or 3 at a time, and probably be okay. But yeah, you don't drink more than 1 ounce per minute of any liquid. Like if you're lacking appetite, you need to have some green vegetation with your meat, like diced cilantro or parsley or some herb, or put celery with your meat, because it'll help alkalize a little bit. And all these little small rules, like you never go 5 hours without protein. You should wake up and have an egg in the middle of the night. Drink some milk in the middle of the night. But the milk usually isn't enough unless it's a milkshake, because the egg protein will help. Or you never have sugar in the first 6 hours of the day. It's extremely important. We never have fruit juice, ever. No fruit juice, except for very rare occasions for remedies, and it's not every day. So these are just all the small things that are extremely important that you need to learn.
Yeah,
there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, it sounds religious and like cult-like and whatever, but it's actually it's really easy to understand. Like most of these things are just not combining certain things together with raw meat, because it either impairs digestion or it impairs digestion, because like the raw cream, if it's not sour from milk, it will like coat the meat and will disable the hydrochloric acid or something, or a lot of the other things. They make the hydrochloric acid. It's little things, but it's just mostly it's just don't mix stuff with raw meat because it impairs the digestion. And then it's small things like drink liquids slower so you don't piss all of them out. It's actually easy to learn. I wouldn't be able to make a list like Scott just did, but I believe I follow all of the principles, and I've probably even never learned them. I just listen to Agenus and I've picked them up like rationally. It's easy. Like
I need to pause.
Yeah.
I need to pause for 30 to 60 seconds so I can call my mom. 1 second.
Okay. I wonder if I should cut this out. No, I will leave this here, actually. This is beautiful. Like, I think the quality of this podcast is horrendous, and so is the content. But if you've seen the thing I see, I'm walking out here on snow. I'm staring at the moon, which is half full. I see the stars around me, and I see the horizon over which there was dawn an hour ago, and now it's a sky full of stars in the middle of the nature, and it's far from civilizations, so I don't see the Milky Way, but yeah, it's beautiful out here. Okay, you back?
I'm back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I will not even cut the part where you left out. I just got into a monologue about how beautiful the scenery of where I am recording this podcast is. Though my limbs are freezing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ended at Agenus. Yeah, like I will go over the list which Scott said, but make it like way easier to remember. Basically, you don't mix fruit or fresh milk together with raw meat because it fucks up it doesn't fuck up the digestion like you will have diarrhea or something. You cannot just drink raw milk with meat or fruit with meat and be like, oh, I don't have diarrhea, so my digestion is fine and I can do it. Basically, if you have fruit, for example, then you digest the meat perfectly, but instead of using the meat for repairing your tissues and healing and growing muscle tissue or whatever, you use the meat as like energy source. So you will get like mental energy, like it's not optimal. So you basically don't mix stuff with raw meat, and you can mix like blend fruit, like Scott Scott said papaya or pineapple. These because they are full of enzymes or something which help you digest the meat instead of fucking it up. And then you can have like tomato or cucumber because they don't have sugar, so they don't mess up the digestion of the meat. And then what you do is each time you eat raw meat, you have either raw butter or raw sour cream or several raw eggs with it, or some, or if it's fatty meat or some fatty tissue, then you don't need the extra fat. But each time you eat raw meat, you want to have some raw fat with it, because if you don't have the protein, then your body wants to make some energy from the food you eat. And it goes, okay, I don't have any fat, no carbohydrates, so I will just make energy from the protein. And then you use the protein for like energy instead of using the protein to repair your tissues. So if you eat some fat, raw animal fat with it, don't be like, oh, I don't have raw butter, so I will eat pasteurized butter with the meat. Don't do it, you will have a diarrhea. I tried it a few years ago. So you can have like, most accessible raw fat source is like raw eggs. So you can have like 3 raw eggs with raw meat meal. And now that you have fat with the meat, then your body says, okay, I have fat, I can make energy from the fat. Therefore, I can use the protein in the meat to rebuild my tissues and stuff. And that's like, those are the most important principles. Don't mix stuff with meat and mix fat with meat. That is the most important. Then second, then the more important, like the most important ones are the ones about meat and the dairy, because they are consumed the most. Like, yeah, so basically don't drink raw milk cold and don't gulp it. Drink it slow. Scott says, or Agent said, 1 ounce per minute, though that's too slow even for me, but I never gulp. I suck it, and I can drink a lot in a minute, but I always sip a small amount, I suck it, and then I swallow a small amount, and then I sip and suck another. So I sip and suck all of the milk. I can drink a lot, but in very small pieces. I never gulp, because the faster you drink, the more you just piss it out. So it becomes wasted. And when it's cold, the milk, even if you don't have diarrhea or anything, you basically don't digest it as well. A lot of people get diarrhea from cold milk and not from fresh milk, if it's raw. And but I don't know, some people don't have diarrhea from cold milk, but then randomly get it or start getting it from cold milk. I don't know why exactly what exactly it's caused by. Yeah, so my speech is kind of terrible because I'm freezing, but I believe it was because when the milk is cold, it disables your hydrochloric acid or something, which then makes you not digest the raw milk as well. But when it's kefir, like when it's sour, then you can drink it cold and not have diarrhea because that is pre-digested, so it doesn't matter that it turns off your hydrochloric acid. I believe this can be the case, otherwise I don't know how I could explain it. Another thing is that...
Yeah, it shocks the stomach and then it doesn't secrete it because the cold, like, shocks the fuck out of it.
Yeah, but when it's fermented, you can drink it cold and be fine. Yeah, and the absolutely last thing which I wanted to say about milk is... I think I fucking forgot. I just had it on my tongue, but I forgot. Yeah, wait, milk, fermented... Fuck. I guess I forgot, so we can go. So we can move on. I will randomly shout it out when I remember. Bro left again. Yo.
Oops. Accident left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you have any more topics to talk about?
Not necessarily. I'm a little pissed because my mom is not supposed to be at the casino, but she's there right now. So that's why I was calling her to be like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to be going to the casino." Because she blows like $1,000 there every single month, so I started forbidding her from going.
Yeah, that's
why I'm broke. That's why we're broke. My mom wastes all my family's money at the casino.
That sucks.
$1,000, yeah, like up to $1,500 a month. She'll just blow at the casino.
Yeah,
and then we'll have no money. I don't have a car. She doesn't have a car, and the house is completely trashed. And like she just smokes cigarettes and is drunk. And I'm like, Mom, like my dad gives you $3,000 a month, and you spend all of it. Like, I have to be stranded without a car for a whole year because You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, I could make my own money and get my own car, blah blah blah. But the fact is, like, my mom should have like 50 grand in the bank if she didn't go to the casino. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Bro, I was supposed to go work in the forest for my ex-classmate from the forest work school. He has like chainsaw, he has like he has like company or not company, but he has a lot of equipment and he can do it. So he was supposed to hire me and he knew about me for months and he kept postponing it. And then we were like, okay, so I will come this and this day and work for him and whatever. And he was supposed to buy me equipment, chainsaw and everything so we could start working. The day before I was supposed to go there, he was like, I'm sorry bro, you cannot come because I lost the money which I had for your equipment by gambling. Not even in a casino, but on his fucking phone. There are these apps where you just put your money in there and you gamble on your phone. And he lost like $2,000. And in the past, I kid you not, he lost over 10, like one time, I believe he lost like $10,000 during like a span of several days. Like, that's so fucking terrible. It's funny that, like, I was...
my mom got like $25,000 in inheritance, and in combination with car accident money, like, she blew like $15,000 in like a month or two. I don't even know where it went.
Bro.
I'm like, Mom, that was supposed to be like... I was like, Mom, like, you should, like, give me half of it, and I'm just gonna save it for emergencies, so I don't have to be homeless. So I was like, I can, like, have a car and be able to fix it. That way I can, like, you know, do what I want to do. It's like...
That's so much
But no,
money.
You want to spend all the money at the casino instead. So it just pisses me off because she does it over and over.
There is a
over
reason.
and over and over.
There is
so
a reason
annoying.
why all of the religions forbid gambling. It's so brutal.
Yeah, it's like I would have never had to be homeless. I could have had I haven't had my own bedroom to like a place to sleep for like 5 years because my mom gambles.
Brutal. Gambling is just...
So it's like all these privileged people in the primal diet, they have parents who pay for their food and they pay for their computer and they have a bedroom and they can sleep peacefully at night and they don't have drama. And if anything ever happens, their parents can pay for their stuff. It's like, no, like I've been operating on zero for several years. I don't even have a place, like for a long time, I didn't have a place to go to. And even here, I don't even have a bedroom. And the whole house is like trashed. And now that I'm back, I've made it a bit cleaner, but it's just like, yeah, I've struggled with jealousy, due to like other people insulting me and calling me a loser. And, you know, they have rich families. Like I had this one guy who I wanted to get a place with, and I was like, I can only afford like $300 a month in rent right now. So if you want to get a place with me, you have to pay more rent. Like, if you want to do that, go ahead. But like, because he had like $100,000 in inheritance. I'm like, bro, you're like 5 years younger than me. Your parents, you just got $100,000 for free. And he called me lazy because I didn't want to pay more rent. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you paying a little bit more rent than me doesn't change anything because you have infinite free money right now, basically. So, you know, I've had people like, you know, talk shit and just, you know, I see people making, like, they're successful on YouTube and et cetera, they're doing the diet. I'm like, bro, I was in the trenches. I had no money. My health was fucked. I was living in a freezing car, making $11 an hour doing DoorDash with ice on my windshields. You know, couldn't even roll down the windshield for like 10 minutes until the ice melted every morning off the car. And sleeping with an exhaust leak in the car, like turn on the heat and there's like exhaust coming in the vents, and I had to cover my head so I didn't breathe monoxide so I can warm up the car for 10 minutes before I can leave. Like, yeah, like I've been through it.
Yeah, that's fucking brutal.
You know, when people think I'm a loser, when in reality their life is just fucking super easy.
Wow. Yeah, I completely feel you, Scott. Okay, so we covered gambling, agenus, astrology, the surroundings of our podcast recording spaces. Anything else we could talk about? Because, like, honestly, the quality of this podcast, which I bring to the table as a host, completely unprepared, is terrible. But I enjoy this conversation and the place, the stars I'm looking at. So I will artificially like force it to keep going. Do you have any other topics we could talk about?
I do.
Yeah, cool. Bring them on.
So I'm about to run a big experiment, running paid ads to try to meet friends and girlfriends.
Yeah, I've heard about it. It's a cool concept. You can tell us about it.
So I'm waiting for the certain astrological combinations to arise, where it's like there's going to be a period soon where I can make friends more easily. And so whenever this period comes, I'm going to run paid ads to try to find students for drums. So I'm going to spend like $300 trying to find young men who live near me who want to learn the hand drums. And I'm going to take on like 5 or 10 students, and I'm going to train them so that by the summertime they'll be professional, and then we'll host a weekly event. And then when the astrology lines up again in the summer, I'm going to spend like a $500 to $1,000 in ads in order to advertise a weekly party in the summer for drum circles. And there's also periods where I'm going to run ads to try to meet girls who are local, because you can pick any age you want, and you can turn on only a woman. So it's like, if you just like, let's say for example, I wanted to only date women who had Jupiter in Virgo, then I would pick ages 20 and 21, and I pick girls who are within 10 miles of me. And that means like most of the girls are gonna like have a good Jupiter combination for me. So like, I don't know if it's 20 or 21 years old. It depends on what time of the year you run the ad too. But it's like, you can pick girls who are the ages, like, okay, I'll pick girls who are 18, 20, and my age, if I wanted to, for example, because that would be the positions that are compatible with my Jupiter. Any Jupiter that's in an Earth sign or directly opposite from my Jupiter, which would be Scorpio. So if a girl has Jupiter in Taurus, Virgo, Scorpio, or Capricorn, those are the ages I'll run for the dating apps. Except for the Capricorn, those girls are under 18, so I can't run those girls for a few years. But for example, like, all these different combinations in the charts give you a different type of person. So like, as I get older, other girls get older too. So it's just like, I get to meet girls with different combinations. It's interesting. It's interesting seeing how like different ages of people have different vibes because they have different charts, because Jupiter moves once a year. So essentially, I'm going to run the ads for the apps for the girls who have Jupiter compatibility with me. I'm going to do that whenever the time is good for dating in order for meeting girls. So then I'm going to be like, who wants to learn the drums? I'll target for girls. Or who wants to learn astrology? Target towards the girls who live close to me. And so like, if I'm giving girls free astrology readings, just DM me. I'm giving girls astrology readings and finding out who's compatible with me locally. And so like, over the next 6 months, I plan on spending $1,000 to $2,000 on just paid ads for meeting male friends and girlfriends. And so I'm really excited to do that. And so I plan on hosting a weekly drum circle here in my hometown during the summertime, and getting like a group of like 20 to 30 people together and have like a professional event and like make it really high quality. And that's my goal right now, getting ready for I'm going to be developing my social life and organizing a drum circle for the summertime. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm just waiting for the astrology to line up before I do it. And I'm going to get the van today. So I haven't been able to work for like 2 or 3 months because I've had no vehicle. And the van is going to be legal today, hopefully. And then so I'm going to be working like, I plan on working from like 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and then 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every day. That way I can wake up and meditate from 5:45 to 6:30. Then I'm going to work from 6:30 to 10:30, come home, take a nap, meditate, make content, then work from 3 to 7 p.m. and then meditate from 7 p.m. to 8:30 and then go to sleep. And my routine's going to look something like that. And I plan on like, this can be 8 hours of work a day, 56 hours a week. Then I make $15 an hour on average, blah, blah, blah. I'll make this much money. I'll spend this much on ads. I'm going to get new clothes. I'm going to buy gold jewelry. I'm going to buy a gold bracelet. I'm going to spend like $1,500 on it, $1,500 on some like a gold bracelet. Because the gold's really good and it helps with certain things. And I'm going to buy like silk robes, like a monk robe, and it's going to be made of silk because it's the highest quality material in existence, basically. Mm-hmm. And that like helps activate certain things in your astrology chart. So I'm going to get gold jewelry. I'm going to get like a $500 outfit of silk gold, like spend like $1,000 in one outfit, $500 in one outfit. And that's what I'm going to wear when I'm meditating. that's what I'm going to wear when I'm recording my videos, because the energy, the resonance of that will, like, that's Venus. When you spend a lot of money on something, if it's really high quality, it activates Venus in your chart. So whenever there's an astrological period where you can meet girls, you should spend money first on your outfit and your clothes and stuff, and invest some money into the process of meeting the girls, because by spending money, you're activating Venus, which activates Venus, which is woman. So, wearing the nicest clothes, taking care of your looks. I'm not saying to be obsessive, but like, you don't have to have like a giant fucking closet full of clothes. I'm just saying, like, spend like $200 to $300 on like 3 outfits. Like, get some 3. It's like, wear the same 3 outfits over and over and over. Instead of having 20 outfits, you have 3 super expensive ones. That way, you're living in luxury and you take really nice care of it. And then, so I'm gonna have like some really nice outfits for my videos and for when I date girls. And I'm gonna run the ads. So I'm just excited to see how it goes.
Brutal. It's obvious that you are a lazy, undisciplined pothead. Bro, you are so fucking ambitious, holy hell. Are you there?
Yes.
Wow. Bro, calling you lazy is crazy. How can anyone do that?
People don't even know me.
Yeah. They make assumptions. Honestly...
Well, they think that meditation is mental illness and then it's a waste of time, and that I'm just taking too much drugs and acid makes me crazy. And so the only reason I meditate is because I do drugs and it's all schizophrenia. That's what they say.
Yeah, like astrology and all the things you say sound out there, but you don't sound crazy talking about them. You sound pretty sane.
If you explained Wi-Fi to somebody from 300 years ago, you'd say they're doing witchcraft, right? So
exactly.
It's like the same thing about astrology.
Exactly. But it's not just about meditation, it's about even the raw meat things, which you talk about, like, not just raw meat, like
when being a prophet.
What do you mean? What? Yo, yeah.
I said Agonist being a prophet.
Yeah, I actually didn't see people's reactions to that, but whenever you do anything outside of the mainstream, and I see it mostly with raw meat people, the NPCs out there, they just treat you like if you are complete subhuman, and I'm completely tired of it. Like, people who watch pornography, cannot get out of bed without drinking coffee, watch TV and scroll 6 hours a day on Instagram, and then these people comment on you or me for being crazy for eating raw meat, or for believing in chemtrails or something like that. And it just disgusts me so much that these complete utter subhumans, which just are completely disgusting, when they treat you like if they are better than you, and that like you are completely stupid and crazy and don't know what you are talking about.
Yeah. One thing that's nice about my mom's is there's no TV in the house. So my mom's hip on that. There's no TV in the house, so that's good.
Based.
But yeah. You mentioned pornography? Is that what you said a second ago?
Yes.
I'm officially, let's see, what is it? I'm officially 1 year free from pornography, which has been a massive benefit to my life. Like, I've never gone this long without watching it, and I don't plan on getting back into it, even though a lot of the time I really want to. I don't.
That's
I'm
very good.
I'll just get a girlfriend soon, so.
Yeah, that's very, very good.
Yeah, it's completely life-changing. Like, me interacting with a woman, like, it just feels so much cleaner. It feels more pure. Even though I'm still horny as hell, it doesn't feel, like, impure.
You know, I found out that even if someone... I'm not a fan of ejaculation, I'm a fan of semen retention, but even if someone is not a fan of semen retention and thinks that ejaculation is healthy or whatever, still watching pornography or even doing masturbation is not nearly as fun as abstaining and then having wet dreams once a week or so, which you do get regularly on the diet. So yeah, there is no reason to do it awake anyway, unless you have a woman.
Sometimes I'll be dreaming and I'm with a girl every single night, a different girl every single night in my dreams. I'm like, oh my god. It's even when I'm releasing on a regular basis, I'm still dreaming. Not wet dreaming, but I usually like the longest I can like comfortably go is like, well, not comfortably go, like the longest I'll go is like 10 or 15 days. But usually it's like twice a week is what I'll do, or sometimes like 2 times in a row, twice a week is usually what I end up doing, just because I need to regulate myself. Like if I had friends to play the drums with and I had girlfriends to hang out with, and like, yeah, it's different. But when I'm sitting at home alone, like I don't have anything to do or nobody to do anything with. You know, like if I had an abundant social life, it's different. You have stuff to do, but like right now I'm just like, sitting at home, I have no car, and it's, in a place I don't exactly want to be. Like I've committed to staying home. I'm not running away anymore. I don't plan on traveling for a while. I might travel a little bit. I'm not going to move abroad and live abroad. So I've committed to staying in order to help my mom and be there for my dad. And so I can't run away anymore. Like there's stuff that pisses me off and I just want to leave, but I've decided that I can't do that anymore. I have to stay and work through it with people instead of just leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the past, if there's anything I didn't like, I would just fucking leave.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now I stay, and because I realized you can't change, like you can't leave your family. Like your family is there forever, and like the family is inside of you. You are the family, and so if you want to grow as a person, like at some point you got to help your family because there's no separation between the two.
Yeah, at some point maybe, but currently at the stage of my life, I'm thinking that the best thing I can do is just leave, bro.
If it's not active, it's not active. Like, there's a time and place to work on your family, and there's a time and place to do your own thing, but, it's still always there. It's still always going to affect you.
Yeah,
even if you're 1,000 miles away.
I'm thinking more long term. I'm not thinking exactly about my family. I'm thinking about my bloodline. And I feel like I love my bloodline and all of my ancestors and all of my descendants. But currently, the way I see my parents, my family, are basically a cancer on the bloodline, which completely go against the entire bloodline. Like they are so self-destructive, and the way they raise my siblings is just disgusting and depressing, and I cannot change it.
I know. I feel the same way a lot of the time. But here's the thing: you are probably more like them than you realize. That's the thing. Subconsciously, like they're in you. They're inside of you. Like, you are your father. You are your mother. Like, you're more like them than you realize. And so it's like, if you want to heal your subconscious traumas, if you want to, like, the parts of yourself that you're not even aware of, that you've never even been aware of, that's deep inside of you, like your ancestral bloodline stuff, like, if you want to heal that, if you heal your parents, you are automatically healed, basically. If you can heal your parents somehow, like, is it possible? Always? Not really, but, like, theoretically, if you could save your parents, you're automatically ascended, basically. Like, I'm not saying you're enlightened, but like you reach another level if you save your family.
Yeah, I can see that being possible. Yeah, however, I've tried.
You shouldn't sacrifice yourself for them either.
Yeah, well, I tried so hard in the past with no result, and I think.
Here's the thing, but trying hard isn't what always needs to be done.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's what I want to say. That.
No, wait. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, when someone's trying to save a relationship, they'll say they tried really hard. They tried to love them, blah, blah, blah. It's like, loving them isn't what you need to do. Understanding them is what you need to do. And so, like, yes, you love them, but the thing is, it's like, let's say you have a girlfriend and you're trying to help her. Giving her love isn't necessarily always meeting her needs. She might have some needs that, like, you're not even aware of. And so if you want to meet your partner's needs, you have to understand them better. So if you're going to meditate, like, on loving them, like, meditate on trying to understand them. Like, try to see life from their perspective. And so it's like, when you attune to them, then it's like, it's not about like forcefully trying to put energy into them. It's about sitting with them, and like, it's not about logic or communication. It's like, can you sit with them, and can you bring yourself into your heart, and can you bring them into their hearts? Can you be in your hearts together? No communication. Can you just sit with your parents and get into like a heart-to-heart space? Like, that's the number one thing if you're going to impact somebody. A relationship, no matter who it is, mother, father, girlfriend, whatever, friend, the most important thing is not what you say. It is being able to be in your heart with them and allow them to feel comfortable for themselves to be in their own heart. So any form of communication is only to first bring you guys to the heart before you communicate any concepts or ideas or anything.
Yeah, I think I cannot do that with my parents, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, if you know their charts, you can look at the astrological activations and know when they might be open to something more. You know,
Yeah, though,
like, okay,
though,
like, you're gonna go home at this time because that's when they're gonna be more receptive to, etc.
yeah, though,
XYZ.
isn't it? Aren't they actually completely horrible parents if their sons need to look up their astrological charts to look up the times when it's possible to approach them? Like, that sounds like you completely failed at being a parent if your son needs to study astrology in order to reach you and make you not be an NPC.
Well, I mean,
Like that's actually
society is
depressing.
just extremely primitive. Like,
Yeah.
society is so primitive. People's understanding of relationships, people's understanding of spirituality, it's all extremely primitive. And like I said, like, the reason there's like basically no white spirituality is because spirituality was outlawed by the church.
Yes.
You know, and like, you know, when they say that libraries were burned, what that means is people in a town, there's authors who wrote. They don't have millions of copies of these and saved on the internet and the cloud. No, they wrote a book for people to read. There might be a copy of it, there might not. It's original work from some just man from thousands of years ago. They burnt it, it's gone forever. So it's like Christianity, like, wiped out all other traditions, all other cultures, and they made spirituality illegal. Like, if you meditated, you're a witch, etc., etc. So, like, the reason, like, I think, okay, so there is spirituality. It's encoded in the Bible. There's secret knowledge in the Bible, but the same secret knowledge is also in Hinduism and Buddhism without it being a secret code. The same knowledge is there, but obvious. The Christianity had to make it hidden in order to, because it was illegal. So the people who wrote the Bible, like, they had to put the secret knowledge in there in a way that the government couldn't figure out what they were doing. So only a very, 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 very small percentage of people could ever figure out. So if you are just an average person, you're not going to be able to figure it out. So it's just better to, you know, look into the Indian spirituality. And like, yes, modern Indians are deteriorated and they're and like the society is very trashy and it's pollution, all this stuff. But ancient India, before the British, you know, took over their government, et cetera, like hundreds of years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000-3,000 years ago, ancient India, you know, when it was still super sacred and pure, you know, like, they had the spiritual knowledge and they respected the yogis. Like, they had homeless people on the street who were homeless so that they could dedicate their life to God. All they did was meditate, and they fasted like 24/7 unless somebody on the street fed them. So they weren't like necessarily begging like that. They were in prayer nonstop all day. They'd walk town to town. They go into the mountain for 2 months, for 2 years, and like they're the wanderers. They go town to town. All they do is meditate, worship God. And like, what that means is they're doing the yogic training techniques. Like, look at my Instagram, look at that video of the guy doing the yoga. It's probably on my YouTube now. It's auto uploaded. Whatever I post on Instagram goes to YouTube. So like, look at the guy doing the yoga, the real yoga techniques. And so like, these people dedicate their lives to it. And so the culture promoted and cultivated spiritual knowledge. They didn't burn them at the stake. They worshipped these people. And so the spiritual knowledge was, you know, spiritual knowledge isn't just God came down and told you, and now you have to believe what someone else said he said. It's about, no, you experience God, you experience the spirituality, you experience the energy through practice, through training, through discipline. Like, it's like reading stories of someone who bench pressed 405 pounds versus actually bench pressing 405 pounds. It's not that God came down and bench pressed 405 pounds just so you could see him do it and then worship. You know, like, you know, you can actually do the same thing. Like
yeah,
if you look at the Bible, the Bible says that you can do works greater than I because the Father is in me and he can be inside of you too. You can do miracles better than I, Jesus says. But anyway, the spiritual knowledge in India, like, now that the internet exists, we have access to the spiritual knowledge that we once previously didn't have. 100 years ago, they came to the United States in order to show it to us, but it wasn't widespread yet. It's still been super underground. And, you know, the mainstream spirituality now, like, this is brand new. This stuff is completely brand new. And so it's a bastardization. It's a dilution. It's not real spirituality. The fake new age pretending to love people, crystals, blah, 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 all that stuff, Western astrology. Crystals are legit. But the thing is, it's like this Western stuff. It's all like spiritual alchemy. I'm intuitive, spiritual psychic. I'm doing psychic readings, all that stuff. Like, all that Western stuff, it's almost all BS.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to go to ancient classical knowledge, like from the yogis and, you know, from real masters like Ram Dass, who met Maharaji, or Yogananda. These people who had access to gurus, you know, real lived like spiritual beings who had enlightenment. Not enlightenment isn't just some casual thing. It's not just like you become enlightened. Like, no, it's like enlightenment is like the final stage of existence that like most people never even meet someone who's been enlightened. Like, enlightenment is like one of hundreds of millions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like something you spend lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes working to get towards.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't even started meditating yet, oh my God, you got hundreds of lifetimes to go.
Yeah. Anyway, for anyone who wants to, like you talked about the teachings in the Bible being encoded and whatever, that sounds like woo and out there. But if you look up, for example, the channel Eric Dubay, he has 2 excellent videos. One is called something like The Secret Teachings of the Bible, where he goes over quotes from the Bible and their hidden meanings. I don't remember a lot, but for example, the Lord dwells in between temples not built by human hands or something, and basically your temples, the temples you have on your head, like there is God. And yeah, there are way many quotes which I will paraphrase, so you can check it out. It's like Secret Teachings of the Bible by Eric Dubay. And the second video is called Jesus Christ Never Existed, and it's like 3 hours long, and I'm not even recommending to watch the entire video, but there's a part about it, about the birth of Jesus Christ, which I find absolutely beautiful, how it was made in the Bible. Basically, the sun, before it goes into winter solstice or around it, it stops moving south. And it stops moving south. Basically, every day it rises a bit southern each day of the winter. It rises before the solstice. It rises. The sunrise is southern from the previous sunrise, and for 3 days, the sun before or around the solstice, it stops going south, and it rises in the same place. And in the Mediterranean, where the Bible was written, the sun in the winter solstice, it will rise for 3 days in the constellation around the constellation of the Southern Cross. So the sun was basically crucified on the Southern Cross for 3 days, and then it starts returning, like it goes northern, like it resurrects. And there was this sounds like a coincidence or nothing, or like 3 days, Southern Cross, whatever, who cares? But there is so much stuff which connects the birth of Jesus to the winter solstice and the sun basically returning. Like Jesus was born, I believe, between like a goat and a horse, and the sun rises between the constellation of Capricorn and Sagittarius, I think, which are Sagittarius is basically a horse and Capricorn is basically a goat. Then yeah, the three kings in the Bible, there actually isn't the mention of 3 kings, but there is the mention of the gifts which are given by the kings, and they are 3. And before the sun rises after the winter solstice, there are 3 stars, I believe, maybe in the constellation of Orion or maybe some other constellation. But the 3 stars, they point and follow the eastern star or something, and under there the sun rises. Basically, the 3 stars, which are called the 3 kings in some of the cultures from around that place, they point to the sun, or they point and follow the eastern star under which the sun rises, which is another thing which is complete cognate to what happened in the Bible. And the most beautiful thing is, I believe, the sun rises within or around the constellation Virgo. The sun basically gets rebirth under the Virgin constellation. So you have the Son of God being born by a virgin between goat and a horse, and 3 kings following eastern star, which points to the point of the rebirth or something. And it all matches to what happens in around the Mediterranean during the winter solstice. It's just completely beautiful. And then the nailing on the cross, it's similar. Like Judas, who was like Basically, Judas betrayed Jesus, and after that, he went to his death to carry his cross or whatever. And in the sky, when the sun passes the constellation of I believe it was Scorpio, it becomes weaker and weaker. Basically, if you look up the video Jesus Christ Never Existed by Eric Dubay, the information in there about the Bible and how it encoded this astro-theological tale of the sun being reborn as the birth and rebirth of Jesus Christ. I think that's one of the most beautiful works of art I've ever fucking seen. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's probably still based on Western astrology though, which is the funny thing because they didn't even know about fucking Vedic anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, though,
All they had access to was
wait. Though back then, for those who don't understand, the Vedic astrology is like it's based on the stars above us, and the Western astrology is based about how the stars above us appeared to be several thousands of years ago. And in the tropical astrology, they forgot to update that the constellation literally shifted, while in the Vedic it is updated. Though, back then, when the Bible was written, maybe the Western astrology used to be accurate. Maybe back then the constellations haven't shifted yet, and therefore it was accurate back then. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's likely.
Well, Western is also based on, like, they call it the seasons. They think that that's all that matters. Because all they want to talk about is your sun sign. What's your sign? What's your sun sign? All the Western is based on the seasons of the sun. They don't, So the sun sign is just a small part of the puzzle.
Yeah, everyone is like, oh yeah, I'm a Virgo. Oh yeah, I'm an Aries. But they don't tell you, yeah, I'm Aries Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Virgo Jupiter, which is aspecting retrograde Saturn and all of this, yeah.
Parents, I say, well, what do you want from your child? Do you want an athlete? Do you want a brain? Do you want to mix of the two? What do you want? And if they want a champion athlete, then I'll have them mix liver or heart with other meat instead of milk. If you want brains and body functions, you give them both the milk and the liver together. If you want an athlete superior in all kinds of ways, then you want mainly the liver with other meats.